In 2295 BC, the Babylonian kingdom at that time was ruled by Namrudz, a cruel king who ruled absolutely and unjustly. The kingdom received a rare sign in the stars that a mighty boy would be born and his descendants would fill the whole earth, with one of his descendants killing Namrudz. Frightened by this news, there was an order that all newborn boys were to be killed. At about the same time, the father of the prophet Ibrahim felt both happiness and worry because he heard the news that his wife was pregnant with a child shortly after he was appointed commander of the kingdom. Then his two sons, Nahor and Haran, gave their opinion about this problem. Haran, being an astrologer, thought that the father could hand over the child to the king, for Haran believed that no omen in the sky had yet failed, even if it had to be handed over to the sword or the hearth. Haran believed that a miracle would keep the child alive, while Nahor suggested that the mother should leave Babylonia for a time. In the meantime, the father could give another baby in place of Abraham. The father accepted Nahor's advice to save himself from Babylon. Ibrahim's mother was placed in a cave with a nanny until the day of delivery, and the father took a baby from a servant to be handed over to Namrudz. When the baby was slaughtered, Namrudz was happy because he thought the threat to his kingdom had disappeared. Meanwhile, after Ibrahim's mother went into labor, she and her nanny left Ibrahim alone in the cave. The mother cried while praying, "May the protector always be with you, O my child." After Abraham was left alone, Allah sent an angel so that attended and cared for Ibrahim. After months, Haran still believed in the omens in the sky about Ibrahim, so he went to the cave where Ibrahim was left. Haran was surprised to find that his younger brother had become a boy who could speak. Haran invited Ibrahim to return to Babylon, but Ibrahim refused, saying that he did not have a home because he admitted that he had gotten lost in an unfamiliar place. In the end, Haran managed to bring Ibrahim to his father's house in Babylon. When Haran brought Ibrahim together, the father could not believe that the child Haran had invited was a baby who had been abandoned for months in the cave. When Ibrahim was asked who had been feeding him all this time, he replied that it was the Most Giver who provided food for him. Then he was again asked about who took care of him when he was sick. He replied that the Most High Healer did it. Then when asked about who informed him of these answers, Ibrahim replied that the All-Knowing One taught him. Surprised by these answers, the father was astonished and amazed at Ibrahim. To avoid Namrud's suspicions, Ibrahim was raised in Haran's house outside Babylon. There Ibrahim was raised with his older brother's children, namely Luth, Sarah and Milcah. Adolescence. Looking for the real God. When Ibrahim was 12 years old, he felt that he had lost the figure who previously provided food and protection for him. Moreover, he found that the people in that country were idol worshippers. Ibrahim denied the notion that statues were gods, so he felt uncomfortable being in the middle of the country. Ibrahim decided to seek God, so he had to move to Prophet Noah's house for some time. After studying at Noah's house, Ibrahim decided to leave because he had not received an answer in his search. When Ibrahim returned to his father's house, he often found his father making statues and placing food in front of the statues, causing Ibrahim to wonder about his father's behavior. Getting the answer that his father worshipped the statue because of ancestral traditions, Ibrahim questioned this tradition, but his father let Ibrahim. During the time of Abraham, most of the people in Mesopotamia were polytheists, namely the tradition of worshipping more than one god. Either gods on earth or gods in the sky, and these people made statues as symbols of these gods. When Abraham asked Nahor about God, his brother explained that there are gods in the sky, but Abraham felt the need to prove this statement. Then when he saw the moon rising he said, "This is my Lord." But after the moon had set, he said, "Indeed, if my Lord had not guided me, I would certainly have been one of those who went astray." Then when he saw the sun rising, he said, "This is my Lord, this is greater." So when the sun set, he said, "O my people, indeed I am free from what you associate." Al-An'am 6:76-78. This is the power of logic bestowed upon the prophet Abraham in rejecting the sky worship religion that his people believed in, so that he realized that the one who controls the moon, stars, sun, day, night, and who created all creatures on earth is the real God. Warning against idol worshippers. As a teenager, Ibrahim still often asked his father about the real God. Even so, his father still ignored Ibrahim. Until one day Ibrahim asked, "What are these statues made of?" Then his father showed wood as a material of manufacture. Ibrahim also questioned, "Is the wood a god? Objects that are scorched disappear in the fireplace?" To avoid further questions, Ibrahim was ordered to sell these artificial statues. Ibrahim went around town selling statues made by his father. But because of the faith and monotheism that Allah had inspired in him, Ibrahim did not feel enthusiastic about selling these items and even mockingly offered the statues to potential buyers with the words, "Who will buy these silent and useless statues?" Through various ways, Ibrahim tried to raise awareness about the uselessness of statues, and Abraham tried to preach while introducing God to many people. Abraham, who found his father still did not want to leave the worship of wooden idols, felt sad and wanted to make him aware of this mistake. Repeatedly he tried to warn, until Ibrahim said, "If the wood is indeed worshipped, can't fire scorch wood? Even though fire is called worship, then water can extinguish and eliminate fire. Even though water is called worship, then water will disappear, absorbed by land. Even though the land is called a god, the sun dries up the land and makes it barren. Even if the sun shines brightly, it is not worthy of being worshipped because it will lose its light because of the clumping clouds and disappear into the darkness of the night and be replaced by moonlight and stars. Even the clouds and the night are not worthy of being considered as worship because our worship's only present at certain times and disappear at certain times, while mankind and all creatures on earth are always alive and present at all times. Isn't the creator of the heavens, the earth and everything between them the real God? Would you like to ponder? Ibrahim cried out to his people, "Whatever you worship is everything that I hate besides the God of everything. He is the one who created me and guides me because he created things based on his purposes and his will. It is he who brings the truth to me through me hearing, because at first I was only a creation that didn't even recognize myself. It was he who revealed the light that illuminates so that I would know what path I should take because I was just a creature that was lost between his earth and heaven. He was the one who was always there for me because he was who provides all things for me to eat and drink. It is in this way. Ibrahim tried to awaken his people, but they ignored Abraham's calls and they persisted in continuing the worship of idols. Some Mufassirin argue that Azar was not the father of the prophet Abraham but his uncle. The Quran only explains that Azar is similar to idol worshippers. Azar is a dealer in statues. He makes and sculpts himself, then people buy statues from him to use during offering ceremonies. The prophet Ibrahim felt that the first obligation he had to do before preaching to others was to make his biological father aware first as the person closest to him, as well as a warning to his father that worshipping idols was a heretical act and stupid. Besides that, Ibrahim considered that his filial piety towards his father obliged him to provide information to get rid of heretical beliefs so that his father would follow him in believing in Allah, the Almighty. With the polite and courteous attitude that a child should show toward his parents and through gentle words, Ibrahim came to his father to say that he was sent by God as a prophet and apostle and had been inspired with knowledge that he did not have to be the father. Ibrahim began to ask his father gently, then asked what was the reason for worshipping idols like his people, even though the idols were of no use and could not bring benefits to the worshippers or could not prevent them bad luck. It was also explained to his father that the worship of idols was simply the teaching of Satan, which had indeed been an enemy of mankind since Adam was brought down to earth. He called on his father to contemplate and think about advice and invitations to turn away from idols, so that his father would return to worshipping Allah, who created mankind and all living things, as well as the one who gives them sustenance and the pleasures of life, and the one entrusting the earth and everything in it to mankind. Rebellion against the pagans. When Ibrahim had realized that wood is not God and his preaching had spread to various countries, Namrudz, who claimed to be king on earth, ordered all his people to come carrying stones and statues to erect a towering monument in Babylonians, a place for special idols, so that all people in the country are invited to unite as a group of idol worshippers, so that these people consider all kinds of actions that do not worship statue idols as deviant teachings. When he found various idol statues as worship, Ibrahim was increasingly intent on making his people aware of this stupidity, and he wanted to prove that stone statues were just inanimate objects that could not do anything against their worshippers. Ibrahim came alone when he the one who did this to our idols, O Ibrahim? He replied. Actually, it is the biggest statue that does this. Try asking the idol if it can speak. They began to wake up and he said, Surely you are people who act arbitrarily. Then with their heads bowed said, Surely you have realized that the idols cannot speak, he said. Then why do you worship other than Allah, various worships that do not benefit you in the least and do not bring bad luck to you? If you don't stop this kind of behavior, my Lord will surely burn you in hell. Babylonian hearth. Hearing this statement, the idol worshippers did not immediately give up and confess their sins. Instead, they thought that Abraham was going to burn all those who worshipped idols. As a punishment for both this action against the idols and this statement, they wanted to kill and burn them. The idol worshippers gathered lots of firewood for a large fireplace. Then Namrudz, as the person who had invited the entire population of the country to worship idols, stated arrogantly, This will be proof, who is the king and God on this earth and who is an ordinary human being. You will witness today that that person was eliminated in fireplace, the result of daring to declare that we will be burned by his God. Then let his own God save him, while I am the God who saves you. Many people from various countries attended to witness this event, and most of them believed in Namrudz. In the middle of the crowd, Ibrahim's older brother, Haran, was also present because he had hidden Ibrahim and did not hand him over to King Namrudz. When Haran was asked why he didn't obey Namrudz's order, he replied, Didn't I ever say that whatever you do, you can't change everything that is written in the sky, because you yourself cannot change the sky and you are not the ones who rule in the sky nor on earth? Then they replied, Indeed, the saying has been proven until now. But look, after Abraham fell into the fireplace, does your saying still apply? They also asked, Do you believe in the God of Abraham? Haran felt doubts in his mind. Because the night before he had found a sign in the sky that there would be someone who was badly burned by the fireplace, so Haran thought that his sister would not be safe from the fireplace. Haran replied, "If Ibrahim had not survived the fire, of course I would have gone and left you as far away as possible with this disgrace. But if through a terrible miracle Abraham had survived, then I would have come and embraced him." When Ibrahim was about to be thrown into the fireplace, an angel was present to offer Ibrahim's review regarding this fireplace event. So God wanted to carry out provisions to the minds of mankind by revealing things different in their views, which then one people and one nation on earth became various nations that have different stances and mindsets. When Ibrahim jumped into the burning fireplace, Allah immediately said to the fireplace so that it would be safety for Abraham. Then the fire from Allah was present to protect Abraham so that he could walk safely from the middle of the fireplace. Finding Ibrahim safe from the fire, Haran rushed over to embrace him. But Haran was instantly struck by the flames, because Haran approached without having faith in Allah. At a time like this, there were various views in the observations of the people who witnessed. Some said, "God is fire because of the fire that saved Abraham." Others said, "God is wood. Because of the wood, Abraham congrats." Some others said, "The God is the wind, because the wind avoided Abraham," so that different opinions emerged on this incident. People who agree with each other about the same views form a separate group to argue and disagree with parties with opposing views. Because they insist on each other's opinions and they refuse to accept the truth from the other side, including to accept the truth of Abraham's opinion that God has saved him to face the fire. Most of humanity holds on to their own opinions and disowned one another and even disowned God. Since then humans have drifted apart from this place of fire, then formed nations, languages, religions, and cultures, which each considers to be the most correct. Of the many people who wanted their respective beliefs, Ibrahim stepped forward while declaring that he only believed in God and only surrendered to God's will. So God chose Abraham as God's chosen human from all nations on earth, and God blessed him, Ibrahim, and the group that followed Abraham's personality. After that, Ibrahim said to the people who disagreed with each other, "Surely the idols that you worship besides Allah are only based on a sense of peace and compassion for yourself in this worldly life. Later on the day of resurrection some of you will deny others and some of you curse some others. And the place of your return is hell, and no one will defend you."